Hey, you might have recently seen the news of the housing bust for small-time real estate investors. They were in the Wall Street Journal, Real Deal, anywhere that can drag, clickbait, guys that are doing big things. They're talking about the housing bust, small-time investors, and they're really dragging on syndicators, okay? In fact, I was mentioned in one of these articles as the most famous, Wall Street Journal said I am the most famous syndicator in the multifamily space today. Thank you, Wall Street Journal. Appreciate the drag. You guys at Real Deal, you guys are always loving on me. Appreciate the attention every time you give it to me, every time you try to clickbait on me. We just do better, okay? So now, big message to you guys that are in housing. To my real estate club, I've said this in our real estate meetings and hookups. We do 3 big events a year, a couple thousand investors, brokers, finance people, real estate professionals come into this room to look at how to buy industrial, multifamily, office, you name it, everything commercial real estate and residential real estate. I have said to you guys for years and years and years, okay? There's some things you have to avoid when you finance. This guy that did this deal, this group that did this deal, his name is this guy, Jay Gajavelli, supposedly the Apple's Way investment group. Bro, you're an idiot, okay? Come on, let's keep it real. You violated every single principle that I have suggested for years. Number one, I was gonna tell you that you over leverage. It's not even the number one thing. The number one biggest mistake you made was you bought a terrible location. The location was horrible. The fact that you got a loan on this deal, I could almost blame the lender as much as I could blame you for settling on this location, okay? The location of the property was awful. You bought 4 properties, at least that I know of, that went back to that one finance group that ended up reselling them to somebody else. That location was awful, okay? 2, it's garbage product that needed a big rehab. The garbage product, it needed a big rehab. This was very popular over the last 2 or 3 years where investors were going out, they were buying terrible locations for a cheaper price, supposedly cheaper price, and they had to do this big rehab job. In some cases, $15,000 and $20,000 a unit to raise their rents $200. It didn't make any sense. Third thing you did, and this is what I was going to say was the first thing. This is what you never want to do, and I've said for years: never, never, ever over leverage your properties. These guys were borrowing 80 and 85 and 90%, sometimes 100% of the deal. They were putting basically 20% down that was raised money. Check out what they were doing. They got a floating interest rate that's now at 7.5%, and they promised their investors some preferred interest of probably 8 to 12%. I don't know exactly what they offered in this deal, but each deal had to basically make 20% a year just to break even, and they hadn't even done the rehab yet. So they had to pay back 20% a year, plus they had to spend $15,000, $20,000, or $20,000 a unit on thousands of units, $20 million, on a bad location. Okay, so they bought shit product, shit location, over leveraged it, and then they had no cash reserves in case of problems. Like, there's not going to be problems. Guys, there's always going to be problems. Okay, every piece of real estate I've ever bought, every business I've ever purchased, every business that I started, every startup I've got involved in, every relationship, partnership, every single deal I have ever bought came with problems that I did not forecast. I did not manage. Most of you guys who are buying real estate in the last 3 years, you're like, oh, we're going to have growth every year. We're going to have rent growth forever. Everything's going to go perfect. We're going to do our rehab. We're going to keep it full at 95%. Why does everybody use this 95% number? It's impossible. Not everybody can be at 95%, okay? Particularly with they got new assets coming on. These guys were buying shit assets in terrible locations, knowing that new product was coming on in an adjustable rate mortgage market where the Fed said the interest rates are going to be going up. We're undercapitalized, don't have money for the future to buy down the loan, and Check it out. Didn't even have any reserves to fix the property. The last thing they did is this. They were punks managing property. And Johnny will show you some of the videos, man. Look, when you're out of money and there's no chance for you to make money, you're losing 20% to the banks and to the investors a year. That's how much you owe. How you gonna make any money in this deal? In 5 years, the property would have to go up 100% to break even, and they wouldn't even get their fees, okay? You small time, punk, unprepared, undercapitalized, over-leveraged syndicators, you're making the rest of the space look bad. I literally got people hitting me yesterday. Man, you good? You okay? I'm in the Wall Street Journal, okay? I'm like, I'm good, bro. We got 12,440 units. We're well capitalized. We have reserves to finance and fund our properties for 10 years. Our hold time is 10 years with discretion to go another 10 years. We do not over-leverage our properties. And number 1 and 2, dude, we don't buy shit in bad locations. We buy the best locations for long periods of time that cash flow. This year, we've distributed $22 million to our properties. For all of you out there, you syndicators out there, if you bought a great location, okay, decent product, does not have to be great product. If you bought a great location and you got a good product, doesn't have to be great, and you are over leveraged, you got adjustable rate mortgages, the mortgages are now blowing up to 7%, you're undercapitalized, and you don't know how to manage this asset, call me. Call me, I'll take that deal. I'll buy that deal right now. 305-365-1010, 305-365-1010. Call me at 305-365-1010. That's right, 1010 for the 10X band. Because I'll buy your asset. We're at 12,400 units, 500,000 square feet of office building. We want to go to 25,000 units over the next 24 months. We are actively buying real estate today. We are well capitalized. We cash flow. We have great properties. You can check it out at cardonecapital.com. Some of the best assets in America we own. We put 10X Living on these. So if you're in the Southeast, if you're in Arizona, Texas, anywhere in the Southeast, Alabama, Florida, the Carolinas, Georgia, I'm a buyer for your assets. You're over, and we'll keep it quiet, by the way. I don't have to tell anybody you sold it to me. We can do an off-market deal. No brokers involved. If you want to do it like that, or brokers involved, doesn't matter to me. I'll pay all the fees. I'll buy your assets, solve your problem. Maybe I'll even keep you in the deal if we can strike a good deal. If you got a great location, a decent product, and you're not able to manage it, the timing's wrong for you, something happened, you're overfunded, you over-leveraged the product, and you're undercapitalized, you don't have the money to maybe fix the situation that's going on right now, please call me 305-365-1010, 305-365-1010. For the rest of you out there buying real estate, do not make these mistakes, okay? Don't make these mistakes, okay? Number one, what's the number one mistake? Don't buy a bad location. A great location can survive almost anything except a garbage product, being over-leveraged. Over-leveraged, nobody ever wins in the over-leverage game. So don't over-leverage. You shouldn't be using more than about 65, 70% leverage. Cash reserves, if you're gonna over-leverage, if you're gonna go to 75 or 80%, you need big cash reserves in case you need to buy down that debt. And the last thing is, man, bring in a professional manager. Somebody knows what they're doing. Just because you can buy a piece of real estate doesn't mean you can manage it. And just because you can manage it doesn't mean you should be buying it. Please subscribe to the channel. Post a comment below if you think I'm an idiot. Tell me so. Please don't keep it to yourself. And don't share it with the world. Share it right here in comments. Thanks for watching.